Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I decided to record some battles with Froslass in the Open Great League. It performs really nicely, I really like it, so I decided to make it the first video on the channel. So let's get right into the battles. So we're running with Froslass double water, really just sort of neutralizes Froslass's weakness to rock and fire. So let's see what's in the lead. Froslass into Wigglytuff. This isn't too bad a matchup. Avalanche is going to hit really hard, but Charm really chunks a Froslass. So I'm looking to be able to get to 2, so I've got to execute Fast Move Denial to prevent the Charm from coming through. That's really nice. We get to the Avalanche, overfound a bit. Gets a shield. Now, we're going to get to one more Avalanche just before they're able to charm us down. This either gets the last shield or does a lot of damage to Wigglytuff. So we get the second shield. So we lost switch advantage, but this is still a really favourable position. We're going to be able to bring in Azumarill. One play rough should be enough to KO this Wigglytuff. Not going to shield this. There's not really much point. It does a decent chunk considering how bulky Azumarill is, but nothing that we can't just shake off. So we get to a play rough. This should be taking out the Wigglytuff. Yes. So what do they bring in? They bring in Jirachi. Now this suggests to me that they don't have a grass type. So I'm going to hard swap my Politoed in. Even though this is Doom Desire, it would be resisted. I do still want the shield. Purely because it would still do a decent chunk. And I want to preserve health on Politoed. So I get to the Earthquake in the middle of their confusion, so they cannot swap out to catch it on anything. This definitely one-shots the Jirachi. They bring in Milotic. This is a really spicy pick. You do not see this often in Great League. It's got access to Waterfalls, the fast move. It's got Surf, Blizzard, and Hyper Beam. So I go for the Earthquake. It does a decent chunk, but Milotic's pretty bulky. I know this is only a Surf, but I'm still going to shield because I know that it would do enough to potentially get me into Waterfall down range. This is a questionable play. I go for Weather Ball, thinking it might KO, but nah, Milotic's really bulky. So I'm not even going to be able to Mud Shot down before they get to another charge move. So I do swap onto my Azumarill to catch. Risky play, but paid off in the end. It doesn't actually KO, but we're getting one more bubble. We could have Mud Shot it down, but Weather Ball definitely does enough. It's on 1 HP. Weather Ball takes out the Milotic. GG to the opponent, and that's the end of game 1. So I do like the performance of Froslass in the Great League. It does pretty nice. Can do a lot of damage to your common Pokemon like Azu, Defense Deoxys, Hypno, Galarian Stunfisk. So going into the next game, Froslass lead into Lantern. Now this is a weakness for our team. Both our back Pokemon are relatively weak to Lantern. So I'm going to stay in this matchup, even though I'm doing not very effective with Powder Snow. Shadow Ball's still going to hit for a lot of nice damage. A little bit of lag, but they shield the Shadow Ball. This isn't amazing. This isn't an amazing position. I decide to no shield. I can tank a Thunderbolt, and they won't be able to spark me down before I get to a Shadow Ball. So they either shield this, or it goes through and hits for about 65% of a Lantern's health. Nice, they let it through. At this point, I'm happy to let Froslass go down. It won us shield advantage. We lost switch, however, we can bring in Politoed. Mud Shots do a decent chunk of damage, even though they're non-stab. It's doing super effective. So Weather Ball, it might KO from this range. No, it doesn't. One more Mud Shot though does seal the demise of the Lantern. What do they bring in to counter a Politoed? They bring in a Azumarill. Now this is interesting because Politoed does beat Azumarill, but I'm down enough health that it might be able to flip the matchup. Sorry. So we land an Earthquake. That does a decent amount of damage. Looking to get to another one. They get to the charge move. So I'm going to no-shield this. I can tank anything in Azumarill throws. Ice Beam, that's the best case scenario. I'm going to punish them for trying to bait. Earthquake should hopefully do a really nice chunk, get it down into Weather Ball range. They get to a charge move, so surely this is going to be a play rough. This will KO. Nope, they go for Ice Beam again. So I'm definitely going to be able to win out this matchup. They pull a swap into Froslass. Now, there is a case to be made. I could have brought in my Azumarill, but I want to chip it down with Weather Ball and get shields. So I'm just able to get to this next Weather Ball. They did get another Powder Snow in. The animation did register. So I'm going to feint after this. Looking to pull the immediate swap into Azumarill though. And it's in play rough range at this point. I'm going to shield to be safe. It's potentially an avalanche bait. Yeah, it's an avalanche bait, but it's not worth it letting unnecessary Shadow Balls go through. Shield again. Shadow Ball would do more than any of the opposing Azumarill's moves, but it's another avalanche. So they did double bait me. That's not amazing, but play rough will KO. That's quite nice, and yeah, the opponent just backs out at this point. They're on that low health, it's not worth staying in battle for them. So GG's. Good game 2. So going into the next game. Let's see what we will get in the lead. So Froslass into Galvantula. Now, this is a fairly neutral matchup. Powder Snow and Avalanche will do a lot, but a Discharge would hurt. I wanted to get another Powder Snow in, but it didn't work, so I'm gonna shield. Oh, they baited with Lunge. That was a good call on their part, thinking that I'd shield. Throw the Avalanche. So this is likely getting a shield on their end. It is. Can I get to it? Oh, they pull an amazing swap into Alolan Marowak to catch my Avalanche. This is single debuffed. Yet it still hits for a decent amount, and we can bring in Politoed to punish this Alolan Marowak. So one Weather Ball will do about 60% to 70% of the AWAC's health. And now it's in Mudshot range, so I can just completely commit to farming this down. I don't need to shield this. Shadow Bone, it hits for decent damage, but nothing that Politoed's scared of. So I've got a lot of energy on my Politoed here. What do they bring in? They decide to bring in Galvantula. Now, the fact that I didn't let a Volt Switch through, that is really nice, because it means I can get to this last Weather Ball to hopefully take out the Galvantula. I think this should be just enough. Yeah, that's just enough to take out Galvantula. And they've got Obstagoon in the back. Here I probably should have swapped into a Azumarill, but it doesn't make much of a difference. I let this go. Okay, it's going to take me out. No, they go for Cross Chop, which is a really interesting play. Night Slash is definitely more RNG efficient in that scenario. But Weather Ball does a decent chunk to Obstagoon, and we can just bring in Azu. The opponent backs out. There's no win con for them. Gunk Shot would do a lot, but I mean, if they're running Cross Chop, they're likely also running Night Slash. So into game 4. I believe this is game 4. So we lead Froslass into Pelipper. This is not an amazing matchup because they outpace us to Weather Ball, and that would do a lot of damage. So I decided to sack swap onto Politoed? Yeah, Politoed. To catch the move. It's a Weather Ball. Doesn't do loads. They bring in Ferrothorn. This is rough. But on the upside, we have baited out the Grass type. So I do want to get this Earthquake landing on this Ferrothorn. So I do shield. Questionable play, but if this goes unshielded, it's probably worth it. Will they let it go? Nice. That does a lot of damage to a Ferrothorn, even though it's non-stab. Still hits nicely. And we get to a Weather Ball. I knew that we wouldn't get to an Earthquake there, but a Weather Ball will do some decent damage. Yeah. So that gets it down into range where I can let this go, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to Powder Snow down with my Froslass. I hope they don't get to a charge move. Oh, they don't. That's good. Okay, we've got a loaded Froslass. Very deadly. They're bringing Toxicroak. That's really not the play there. Toxicroak does not have much to do damage to Froslass. Wow, that does a lot of damage. They let that go. I tried to catch a Mud Bomb on a Azumarill, but it ends up in my favor anyway. I can bubble down. And even though they've got 2 shields compared to my 1, a loaded Froslass with a full health Azumarill should be able to end this game quite nicely for me. So the first player off gets the first shield. They're building up a lot of energy. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a Hurricane, but it doesn't matter. I want to save the shield for Froslass. Yep, the Hurricane lands. Hurricane does so much to a bulky Pokemon like Azumarill. Pelipper's a really nice pick. I do enjoy using Pelipper, but in this scenario, I'm going to be able to beat it because the player gets the second shields. They could farm down. Oh no. So they throw a Weather Ball. This will be taking me out, but the opponent makes a decent play. They undercharge the Weather Ball to get 1 more wing attacks energy, but it doesn't matter. My Froslass has loaded energy. This will definitely be taking out the Pelipper. Yeah, that's nice. And we had a shield, so if Pelipper did win CMP against Froslass, we'd still been fine. That's really nice. Going into the last game, we're 4-0 at this point. I'd really love to get a 5-0 with this team. I think it's very deserved. It's pretty solid. So, going against Comrade Dorkin. Froslass into Gligar. Gligar is very spicy. It's got access to decent moves. It's got Night Slash and the wing attack. Decent energy generation there. I'm gonna let this go. It's non-stab and it shouldn't do loads. They get the attack boost. That's really interesting. But these Powder Snows have already got it down to like half health. So it's doing loads. Double super effective, obviously. So I pull a swap into Azumarill. They stay in, they throw a Night Slash. That's definitely not the play. I'm going to be able to potentially bubble down here. That would be really nice. Yeah. So we've got loaded energy on Azu. They bring in their own Froslass. I could have gone for Hydro Pump here, but I thought they'd shield, which they didn't actually, so it works out in their favor. However, another player off is definitely going to KO Froslass from this range. I let this go. If they're baiting, they'll be punished, but it's a Shadow Ball. It doesn't actually KO, so the player off will be either getting the final shield or KOing the Froslass from here. Gets the last shield. That's really nice. I don't want to be fully Powder Snow down, so I do make the swap into my own Froslass. I beat it to the Avalanche thanks to a little bit of residual energy from the opening matchup. That takes out theirs. They've got Poliwrath in the back. This is pretty much a wrap from this point. Bearing in mind this Poliwrath does have Bubble, which is quite interesting. So I'm going to shield this. Potentially Ice Punch. No, it's Power Up Punch. That's a very interesting moveset on Poliwrath to run in Great League. So this Shadow Ball will do massive damage. Wow, that's very impressive. And I can bring in my Politoed. One Weather Ball will KO Poliwrath from this range. That's really nice. That is a very nice ending to a 5-0 set, which I'm really pleased that I got with this team. It does function quite well. I mean, there will be some weaknesses, but every team has a weakness. I'm probably going to run this until Ultra League comes. As you see, 5-0 there. What's the encounter going to be? Oh, it's nice. Medicham can get free XL from that. But yeah, that wraps up the video. So it's the first video on the channel. If you do enjoy, please make sure to subscribe, slap the like button. Other than that, I'll be seeing you in the next video.